ASU holds their annual Wreaths Across America dedication ceremony, though it looks a little different this year due to the pandemic. I'm Caitlin Shive. That's coming up. Plus, Parsons police search for a suspect involved in a hit and run, and a Joplin business celebrates 50 years of serving the community.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
The Parsons Police Department is on the lookout for a hit-and-run suspect after a victim was seriously injured. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Kate Kelly. Police got a call at 4:40 this morning that pointed them to a ditch near 35th and Southern Avenue where 18-year-old Andrew Scott was suffering from multiple injuries after being hit by an unknown vehicle. Scott was life-flighted to Freeman Hospital in Joplin. Parsons Police Chief Robert Spink says that there are possible suspects in this case who are withholding what they know in hopes of financial gain from Mr. Scott's injuries. He's asking anyone with information regarding this case to please come forward. A Southwest City man is dead after a crash in Mayes County. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says the crash happened just before midnight on State Highway 20, about 3 miles east of Spavinaw, Oklahoma. 57-year-old Domingo Nenes was driving west when he failed to negotiate a curve, went off the road, and hit a tree. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Authorities say Nenes had an odor of alcohol and was driving too fast. His passenger was life-flighted to St. John Hospital in Tulsa and admitted in stable condition with a head injury. Southwest City has issued a boil advisory for its residents. Utility Supervisor Shane Clark says it's due to low chlorine levels in the water. You can check for updates on the city's Facebook page. Nick Kelly joins us now with our first look at weather, and really not too bad with the sunshine today.
No, it really helped us out, Kate, after we had a cold start this morning. So let me show you the numbers for you here. We started out cold at about 32 this morning and a high of 49. Not bad for this December 19th of 2020. After our weak storm system passed out through yesterday, we've just been sitting nice and quiet throughout the day and the evening so far. That being said, I am watching a little bit on the cloud cover trying to come at us out of central Kansas. That's about the only threatening weather we'll have, not only for the overnight hours, but for our Sunday as we wrap the weekend up. Even with this passing cloud cover around, it's going to be a cold night with most of us around 30. Some spots will fall back into the upper 20s. But I do think with a fair amount of sun, once again, tomorrow we'll be back near 46 by noon and highs near 50 for your Sunday. We got a few storm systems to watch before and after the Christmas holiday. Kate, we'll break down the week ahead here coming up in a bit.
Sounds good. Thanks, Nick. Kids lined up to hop aboard the Christmas train at All Aboard Ice Cream in Joplin today. All Aboard offered the event for a few hours this afternoon, attracting a long line of holiday hopefuls. Santa made his appearance for free, lending a knee to plenty of kiddos, some happy to see him, others a bit more wary. Parents were invited to take as many pictures as they liked. The event was also a thank you to all the loyal customers who keep All Aboard chugging along. A longtime Joplin favorite, Frank's Lounge, is celebrating 50 years of serving customers. The pub was established back in 1970 and it's been serving up cold brews and smiles ever since. Plenty of regulars came out to show their support today. The owner says it's this kind of support that keeps their atmosphere fun, even during a difficult year like this one.
Well, when we opened, Al Reynolds was the liquor control agent, and we moved from 625 Joplin up here, and he was to get our license transferred and all this. The day we opened, we didn't have a license, and Al said we couldn't open. Well, everybody came in and they drank pop, water, juice, and the Highway Patrol delivered our license to us. So when they did that, then we could sell beer.
Frank's Lounge is located at 2112 South Main Street in Joplin. Today is National Wreaths Across America Day. Pittsburgh State University held its annual dedication ceremony, although it did look different this year due to the pandemic. KOAM's Caitlin Shive spoke with a couple veterans in attendance who hold this ceremony in high regard. Each December, Wreaths Across America Day is observed as a way to remember, honor, and teach.
What distinguishes this over Memorial Day, which is, the memory of our veterans and so on, and then Veterans Day in honor of veterans who are still serving, It's really more of a teaching opportunity to the public and to the younger generations.
As part of the National Observance Day, Pittsburgh State University held its own dedication ceremony at the Veterans Memorial. Captain Leon brought his own kids to attend.
My son is here, he's listening, my little daughter's here as well. For them to experience and to understand what it is to sacrifice for this nation, right? What it is to see a person in uniform, and what exactly do they do, the sacrifices they give.
The ceremony did look different this year. Typically it sees around 50 to 100 in attendance, but this year that was reduced to more than half because of the pandemic.
Actually do have our, awesome technology nowadays. It's not too much of a burden on us. I mean, it's actually at times even a benefit that we actually get to put this online. We reach a lot more people than we used to.
And although the pandemic may have changed the way the ceremony looked, it didn't change the meaning behind it. Richard Fulton represented the U.S. Air Force in the hanging of the wreaths, but he was also there to remember his friends he had lost.
I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to remember them in a public forum, and also to remember them in a private way by hanging the wreath.
The same goes for Ed Fox, who represented the Navy.
There's one of my good buddies, his name is on the wall down here, and Stephen Benefeld, and I think about him quite often. He was never recovered, so kind of gets you right here.
In Pittsburgh, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
The ceremony was also recorded and posted to Facebook to allow more people to take part virtually. We take this time now to honor another four-state hero. Lance Corporal Raymond Wegner served in the Marines from 1977 to 1981, spending time stationed in Turkey, Spain, and Okinawa. His town, Pittsburgh, Kansas. We thank you, Raymond Wegner, our four-state hero. That's news and weather in our first 7 minutes. Just ahead, lawmakers continue to clash over a $900 billion economic relief package, and doctors express concern over children missing measles vaccinations during this pandemic. How COVID-19 compares to the flu, and the first doses of the coronavirus vaccine are delivered. Naomi Ruckham has some of the week's top health stories.
Healthcare workers around the nation received their first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine.
There's light at the end of the tunnel, but we still need to continue to wear our masks, to social distance.
New research of more than 130,000 hospitalized patients in France shows COVID-19 causes more severe disease than the flu. Death rates were 3 times higher in COVID patients, and they also required more intensive care than flu patients. Pediatricians are concerned that many children are missing measles vaccinations during this pandemic. Researchers at Nationwide Children's Hospital report a 10% drop in vaccinations starting in March of this year. Doctors say even as clinics began to reopen this summer, the number of children getting vaccinated remained low. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Congress is working this weekend to pass a COVID relief package that includes a new round of stimulus checks. And Moderna's coronavirus vaccine begins shipping this weekend after the FDA approved its use. CBS News correspondent Michael George has more from New York.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are working through the weekend, hoping to reach a spending deal and an approximately $900 billion COVID relief plan.
The American people cannot feed their families or pay their bills with Congress' good faith discussions. They need us to act.
The number one outstanding issue is a proposal by the Republican senator from Pennsylvania.
Senator Pat Toomey's proposal would wind down some of the Federal Reserve's emergency lending programs.
It puts an end to these 3 programs that did their job, they functioned, they restored the private credit markets, and so they don't need to continue.
Late Friday, Congress passed a 2-day government funding measure to keep the government from shutting down. They must pass another one by midnight Sunday. Senators are expected to resume discussions Sunday. And the first doses of Moderna's coronavirus vaccine are set to start shipping. They should reach healthcare providers on Monday. Operation Warp Speed's General Gus Perna apologized for a miscommunication with some states over the number of doses of vaccine to be delivered in the early stages.
So to the governors, to the governors' staffs, Please accept my personal apology if this was disruptive in your decision-making.
And in Delaware, President-elect Joe Biden introduced more nominees for his climate team.
Today, I'm pleased to announce a team that will lead my administration's ambitious plan to address the existential threat of our time, climate change.
If confirmed, North Carolina's top environmental official, Michael Regan, will become the first African-American man to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. And Biden nominated New Mexico Congresswoman Deb Haaland for Secretary of the Interior. She would be the first Native American cabinet secretary. Michael George, CBS News.
The CDC says it has seen 6 severe allergic reactions out of more than 250,000 Pfizer vaccine shots given so far in the U.S. Within minutes of British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's announcing an effective lockdown on over 16 million people in England, shoppers hit the streets for a final attempt to stock up on Christmas presents and supplies. Today, Johnson reversed plans to ease curbs over Christmas, saying Britain was dealing with a new coronavirus strain up to 70% more transmissible than the original. Social mixing will be limited to meeting one other person in an outdoor space. The new rules will come into effect at midnight. Apple is temporarily closing its California stores in response to a sharp rise in coronavirus cases. There are 53 retail stores in California. The company made a similar move back in July after Apple temporarily shut down its more than 250 U.S. stores in mid-March in response to the pandemic. A reopening date has not yet been released. Spacex closed out a record year by launching its 26th Falcon 9 rocket today, the second in less than a week to put a classified National Reconnaissance Office satellite into orbit. The satellite's builder and purpose are mysteries, reminiscent of the equally mysterious Zuma payload launched by SpaceX in January 2018. Zuma was lost in a mishap of some sort shortly after reaching space, and no details about its mission or even what agency owned it have ever surfaced. In any case, SpaceX's year-ending mission got off to a spectacular start as the Falcon 9's first stage made its 5th flight this morning. Just ahead, Nick Kelly returns with a full look at your forecast, and a little later, a panda settles the score with a snowman in Russia.
We had a pretty good Saturday. On the backside of the weak wave that passed on through, though, it was a bit cooler today, but you can't deny how great the time-lapse looked from Indigo Sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri. That's how we looked across the entire area today. And as far as temperatures go, we took advantage of that sun behind the cold front to get us from a cold start this morning, mainly upper 20s to about, even some mid-40s still on the cold side of that front. But look at the afternoon. We've fared into the mid to upper 40s across the board. That's not a bad way to wrap up our Saturday. And even at last check, the temperatures had us quite cold in the upper 20s to the lower 30s already. But I think we're going to hold there throughout the course of the night, all because of a southwest breeze. Even though it's light, it'll be just strong enough to keep temperatures from bottoming off too much more. Not to mention a little bit of cloud cover on the way. We haven't seen any all day, though, on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. It's the cloud cover trying to sneak in out of north central and central parts of Kansas. As that tries to clip parts of the area, that's going to put a bit of a limit to how cold it gets throughout the overnight. Still, though, we're on the backside of our last wave. That's certainly a lot stronger now, resulting in lake effect snow across parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York State, and extending on as rain all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Behind that front, we just have a couple areas of high pressure that will keep us dry and is setting us up for a bit of a chilly, but a bit of a warmer, though, Sunday afternoon. But again, that cloud cover coming out of Kansas, that's due to a weak disturbance coming out of Nebraska. It doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with, but as this passes nearby on Sunday, it's just going to bring us partly to mostly sunny skies. So no threatening skies whatsoever to wrap up the weekend. We just have to get past another cold night taking shape right now and turning into a cold Sunday morning. Even with that bit of cloud cover rolling on through, we're going to keep things cold with most of us in the upper 20s to near 30 for overnight lows, a light southwest wind at 5 to 10. And as long as that wave still passes nearby tomorrow, that wave coming out of Nebraska, again, we'll keep some cloud cover in the forecast, but we'll be bouncing back and forth between partly to mostly sunny skies during the day. Despite that, 46 by noon, pushing 50 in Joplin for the afternoon. and most of us looking okay. Near 50 on the Missouri side and lower in the middle 50s for our corners of Kansas and Oklahoma for tomorrow. Quick look at the week ahead of us from the jet stream setup. Keeps us quiet for Monday and Tuesday, but look at the jet. It's well to the north of us. This setup puts us in the lower to middle 60s, certainly by Tuesday. So the first 2 days of winter will not feel like it until we see, sticking with Doug's pattern, our next storm system on Wednesday. We'll see if this can bring us some showers Wednesday and maybe a couple quick snow showers Christmas Eve morning. But mainly, this system is going to set us up for a cold Christmas Eve, followed by a quiet and cool Christmas Day. Then after Christmas Day, another system wants to roll in by Saturday with some rain chances as we head toward the rest of the holiday weekend. So a couple storm systems to watch, but 50 tomorrow, 58 Monday, 63 Tuesday, 56 and dropping with that next strong storm system on Wednesday. And not looking at a white Christmas this year, Kate, but it'll certainly feel like it with 31 for Christmas Eve and 43 for a quiet and bright Christmas Day.
All right, well, that sounds pretty good. I'm really looking forward to that 50 on the board for tomorrow.
I know, and we're going to have to enjoy the 58 Monday and 63 Tuesday because those 2 mild days will not be around for long.
That's true. Thanks, Nick. Well, talk about ominous. This imposing dust storm loomed over areas of central Argentina on Friday. In nearby Santa Rosa, reports of a damaging tornado blowing off roofs and uprooting trees came before the arrival of heavy rain. Winds reached nearly 50 miles per hour. Coming up in sports, Webb City boys take on Pittsburgh in an interstate matchup. And the Missouri Southern women are heating up, looking for a 4th consecutive win against Missouri Western. Andy Ciateco has highlights and post-game reaction next.
The Pittsburgh boys look to get into the win column, entering the day 0-2. The Purple Dragons face Webb City in an interstate matchup at the Four States Basketball Challenge this afternoon. The Cardinals are 3-1 on the year. Webb took the lead early. This jumper from Cole Vaden puts the Cards up 4. They didn't stop there. Mid-range from Nakai Howard. He had a team-high 19. Webb up 6. Later in the first, pass to Caden Turner. Drops a 3. Cardinals lead by 9 at the end of 1. The second quarter, Max Higginbotham connects from the corner for 3. Webb City up 13 at that point. Pitt trying to respond late in the second. Fadeaway from Javon Grant. He had a game-high 30, but it's Webb City that comes out on top, 84-54. At the college level, Missouri Southern is at home for the final time before winter break. The Lions are hosting Missouri Western at Leggett and Platt. On the women's side, the Lions have won their last 3 straight, entering 3-3 on the year. Second quarter, Southern down double digits. Beyonce Stocks driving, stops and hits the mid-range jumper. Moments later, Lions in transition. Carly Turnbull dishes to Lane Skiles for the finish. The Purdy native finished with 13 points and 5 rebounds. Missouri Southern down 7 at the break, though. Third quarter, Maddie Stokes with the rebound, passes to Turnbull, cutting the lane for 2. She had a game-high 16. Midway through the quarter, Brooke Stauffer sinks a triple from the far side. Gets the Lions within 3. A minute later, feed down low to Stokes. She turns around and hits the jumper. Lions down 1 at that point. Southern would lead by 5, though, after 3. Missouri Southern wins its 4th straight game, beating the Griffins 67-56.
I think this year we have confidence in our shooters. I mean, we've got drives, kicks. I mean, we can score at all 3 levels. So I think at any moment in time, we never really thought we were too far down to come back into the game.
We're on a roll, and we're not going to take any mental time off over this break. Obviously, physically, it'll be good for us, but we're going to come right out, do 2 hard weeks of practice again, and just keep getting better from here.
And the 19th ranked Griffins, their 2nd loss of the year. 3 minutes in, Missouri Western in transition. Alex Johns with the 2-handed slam for the first points of the game. 9 minutes until the half. Stan Scott gets up for a jam of his own. Lions up 1. A little later, Scott going straight to the hoop, throws it down. Southern trailed by 8 at half. Second half, Cam Martin pulls up, drains a 3 from up top. He led the way with 33 points. Then 8 minutes left to play. Martin dishes inside to Christian Bundy for the monster slam. Lions within 1. 1 minute left to play. Martin driving, tough shot does go down. Southern on top by 1. However, Western responds on the other end. Will Ames drills a 3 from the left wing. Lions lose a close one down the stretch, 88-86.
The most important thing I think in the game is, is the last 2 minutes. We practice it, 3-4 times a week. We practice situations, and those times in practice have got to mean more. We got to be locked in a lot more, and that's on me as a coach to make sure we execute not only offensively but defensively.
Moving on to Division I hoops, Kansas State is 3-4 on the year, playing host to number 2 ranked Baylor. Wildcats trying to hand the Bears their first loss. First half, Teague hits a 3 plus the foul. Bears up 5 after the free throw. Later in the first, in transition, Teague hits another 3. He would finish with 23 points and 10 rebounds. Bears up 11. In the second half, Baylor still up big. Jared Butler gets free, knocks down a 3. He finished with 14 points and 3 assists. Kansas State drops this one 100-69. Switching over to football, it's a top 10 matchup for the Big 12 championship. 10th ranked Oklahoma squaring off with number 6 Iowa State. Oklahoma looking for their 6th straight Big 12 title. Second quarter, OU up 7. Spencer Rattler goes deep, finds Marvin Mims for the 45-yard touchdown. Sooners led by 14. 37 seconds left in the half. Rattler scrambles, runs it in from 9 yards out. OU on top 24-7. Now in the fourth, just over a minute left to play. Iowa State down 6. Purdy gonna throw it deep. Intercepted though by Trey Brown. Make it 6 straight Big 12 titles for Oklahoma. Sooners hold on to win 27-21. That's a look at sports. Back with more news after this.
If you ever find yourself having a rough day, maybe you should take a lesson from this panda and bring a snowman down to size. This little guy looks like he's having a great time destroying this snowy creation. Of course, Nick, we need some snow to build ourselves our own frozen punching bag, but is that going to come anytime soon?
You have before Christmas Eve. It's mainly going to be rain, but definitely setting us up for a cold Christmas Eve and a quiet and cool Christmas Day. But the next 3 days look okay. 50 tomorrow, pushing near 63 on Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Nick, and thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Until then, have a great Saturday night.